Hello, teacher and classmates. In today's video, I'm going to give a brief or a little explanation of the differences between model and traditional learning. I made this table or chart, but I'm going to show it to you around so you can read it with me. So, I'm going to talk first about the traditional learning or teaching techniques or technologies. First, the number one of the traditional learning is that it was limited. Traditional learning was limited because you only had the book that the teacher told you to look for to to get the information. You didn't have access to much places. You only had to go to the library and that's it. Look for the book. You didn't really have time to look for all the books you wanted to. So it was very limited. You only got the information that the teacher told you, even though it could be wrong, and you only have that information, and that is what you have to do or to know for the rest of your life. Second, it is very theoretical. It was just very, it was traditional classes or traditional teaching techniques were very boring in my opinion. The students used to get in the classroom, sit down there, and look at the board and pay attention to the teacher, and that's it. And that's very boring. Imagine a 6-year-old kid just getting into the classroom and sitting there, boring, looking at the teacher and paying attention to what he or she is saying. No, it doesn't sound right. Third, it was very strict. Back in the days, you had to just believe what the teacher said. You didn't really had a voice. The students didn't really had a voice to speak about what they believe or what they think, or maybe teacher, no, I think that's wrong. Teacher, I think you can do this, or this is better. No. You only had to believe what the teacher said. You didn't. Let's take it far away. You wasn't able to look to the sides. Just like that. It was very strict and boring. Last, it was based on memorization. It wasn't really about understanding the topic. It was more about you memorizing the information the teacher is giving to you. If he is telling you that the sky is blue, you have to memorize. You don't get like the experience to look at the sky and say, oh yeah, it's blue. You just because the teacher told you it's blue, you have to believe it's blue, and that's how you have to go for the rest of your life. Now, moving on to my favorite, the modern teaching techniques or the modern education. First of all, it is unlimited. You have a lot of resources to look for. You have books, you have studies, you have everything. You have video, you have games, you have a lot of ways in which you can learn and get the information you want. You can look for ideas or beliefs from people around the world. It doesn't really have to be somebody near you. You get a lot more of information and resources to work from. Second, it is interactive. The teacher and the students get to interact a lot in the modern education. The student is able to ask questions and maybe answer questions. They are able to feel more attracted to the class. Third, it is didactic. Yes, I love gamification. That's my favorite technique out there. It is very didactic because kids love learning, and everybody love learning and playing games. For example, if you are teaching classes in ninth grade, they will even like games. So gamification is the best resource ever. They are learning and they are playing and they don't even know they are learning, but they are. So that's the best way in which they can learn and you can make the class more didactic, which leads to the last point, that making the class more didactic makes the class more engaging. Who doesn't love a class in which everybody is participating? Teacher know the answer, teacher don't want to participate, teacher want to say something. Everybody loves that. I love that. because I feel like they are interested in the topic, they like what I'm explaining, they like the way I am explaining, they like how the class is going on, so they are going to engage with me in the class, and that feels fantastic. So making the class didactic, adding games, maybe stand up, full you little girl stand up and use that person as an example, or if you're showing addition, maybe you can add like three kids, three boys and two girls, how much does it make? And so on. So the class is more didactic, everybody wants to participate, the students understand better, and that's how is modern education right now. Now, giving the answer to the question, what aspects do I think I have to take into consideration to lesson plan, specifically when going to a public school? The first thing I always think about and take into consideration is the resources. Sadly, in private school, in public schools, you don't really have the resources you will have in a private school in order to develop the class you would love to, and to develop the class in the way that you know the kids will know. For example, in the school that I'm working on right now, each classroom has a data show in which you can show your PowerPoints, videos, games, maybe use quizzes, Quizlets. You have many ways in which you can use technology, because one, that calls the kids' attention, and two, it's an easier way to make them understand topics. But in a public school, you probably will not have that resource, which makes you reduce the way in which you can make your classes more didactic, and makes you think a little bit harder, because at home everybody is used to technology. So not having technology at school is going to make it a little bit hard, because you're gonna have to use some traditional maybe resources or traditional ways of learning in order to be able to give your classes. Thank you so much.